Hey guys, it's Brianna, and today we are talking about rehooping split embroidery once again. So hopefully this will be a little bit more in depth and user-friendly for aligning up those pieces. Before we get started, I want to clarify that this video is using the free software from Embrilliance, so the split embroidery function is not available. Otherwise you would use this bigger hoop. So we're sticking with our 4x4 hoop that comes with our machine, and let's get into it. If your version of Embrilliance looks a little different, it's because I have Embrilliance Essentials, but if you have Embrilliance Express, this will still work. So just type out whatever text you want to split. For me, it's this last name. I like to kern all the letters together so I know how it's going to stitch out. For this particular font and text, I'm going to put the first 6 letters together and create a second file for the last 3 letters. Now you should have 2 separate layers. Go ahead and delete one of them. Save the stitch file. I'm going to save mine as COS1. Then I'm going to press Command Z or undo to bring back the second layer and delete the first one that you've already saved and save that one as COS2. I'm using a scrap piece of fabric for this and a piece of cutaway stabilizer. To prep our hoop, grab my handy dandy basting spray. Give this a little spritz. Since I am using a small piece of fabric, I don't want it to move around on me or wrinkle. The placement in the hoop needs to be off to the side a little bit because if you remember when you're embroidering, the curved parts of the hoop never see any action. Turn on the machine, add your geek stick, and pick your color of thread. I picked this green color. Honestly, not my best decision. It is kind of hard to see. I love the self-threader in this machine. Oh my goodness, it is a lifesaver. If you are having problems with your self-threader, go check out my video on how to fix it. Load up your hoop. Search for the first file. Then I select rotate. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, but this will depend on what you are embroidering. Move it all the way down to the bottom, and then go ahead and press end edit. Then you'll see the little pin tool at the bottom, at least I call it a pin tool, to make sure that it is in the perfect spot for your specific project. Once you're done with that, go ahead and select embroidery. Put down your presser foot and press the green button. Whenever you're unloading your hoop, don't forget to press this little button right here to release it, otherwise you could be damaging your machine. Here's how the first part turned out. One trick that I do for lining things up is using Scotch tape, so here I just have some transparent tape. Painter's tape would work better, but I didn't have any with me. And you're just going to unscrew your hoop and place the tape where you have the top of your material. Of course, this might not work depending on what you're embroidering on, but you can mark the material with water-soluble ink and different things. This is just what helped me with this project to make sure that my material was even. Now move your material to the left so that you have room to embroider the rest of your text. Keep in mind that you do not want too much of your already embroidered text in the hoop, but you don't want too little. So you need to have it surpass the curve there, otherwise you won't be able to connect them. But if it's too far over, which is why I don't recommend putting a lot of letters in the second half, you won't be able to fit all your text there. On part 2, I went ahead and sped up this selection process. we are going to be playing the guessing game. This game is not fun, but it does wield results. There's no exact science to this because of where the letters sit, depending on the name or whatever text you're putting on the machine. For this one, I have one below the baseline, such as a G, and I had two letters above the baseline, which would be the capital letter C and the letter L. Even if you were to draw a line underneath the letters that you already have to try to make it straight, it would not be helpful because it's going to show you the middle of the embroidery. Well, it might be helpful for this one because of the letter G going down to that baseline. Yeah, it probably would have, but I didn't do that. Just making it as close as I can to that letter E, put down my presser foot and put my needle into the stitch and see how close it is to the letter E. And that's pretty good, it's touching. I'm going to raise the needle, cut the thread, and we're just going to test this out. But the most important thing is never walk away when you're doing this type of split embroidery, because if something goes wrong, you can press stop and save your work. It looked like it was close enough, but it's not. So I'm going to move it over to the left and then up 1 or 2 spaces. Taking my handy dandy seam ripper, taking out those few stitches, which is why it is great to stay close to your machine so that it's not super difficult to take out. Trial number 2. I'm going to go down 2 and then up 1. And I think that's going to be really good. Putting down my needle, putting up the presser foot so I can see, and of course it's not going to let you start until you put your needle back up, press embroider, and start it up. So once you are happy with the first letter, of course you can walk away from your split embroidery. I'm really surprised that I was able to get this on the second try, because sometimes it does not work out that way and it takes a couple tries. Just be patient, you will eventually get it, and the more often you do it, the easier it gets. If you have any more questions about split embroidery, please let me know. I try my best to answer any and all embroidery questions that you guys leave in the comments. You can't tell where it was split at all. If you're being super nitpicky, I would probably move it over like one more place, but that's only because I know where it's split. No one else would be able to tell that. Alright guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!